if this woman is like not touring and just homeschooling their kids and she's making all this revenue selling her music to people who actually want to buy, I have to get into this.
You can promote whatever business you want and they will buy that thing.
Personal brand, right?
This is going to be such a fun year.
Welcome to Legacy Launchpad, where kingdom-minded entrepreneurs build profitable businesses without compromising faith or family. I'm Leah McHenry. Let's build your legacy together.
All right, we're back with the Legacy Launchpad, and I'm really excited to have this episode today and have this guest on today because this goes back to my older days, my original days of what got me started in business to begin with. And it wasn't business, it was actually music. And that is my background. For people who don't know that part of me, that is literally what put me on the trail to learn anything to do with business or marketing or online stuff or sales, like anything, sales psychology, you name it. It all came from me trying to figure out how could I market my music online? And just a little quick snapshot about that. I had a background as a recording artist. I've been a musician, singer, songwriter my whole life. And then I got married young and we started having a family at a really young age. And so, doing the whole touring thing and getting on a tour bus and trying to do concerts and all this, like that was really not a practical option for me. So I had to try and figure out, okay, well, I made this album now. And what do I do with it? How do I build an audience? And how do I get discovered? Would a label want to sign me maybe? Like, what would they even do with me? And then how can I make a sustainable music career online as a stay-at-home mom? And I'm like, so nobody was really talking about this at the time. And so it came one day to, I had to stop studying the music industry because all I was getting, I read the books and I read blogs at the time. Blogging was huge. And there was beginning to have some podcasts and there was a few voices out there. And it was just all old music industry stuff, like get on the radio and go to events and do networking and maybe sync licensing and things like that. And I'm like, none of this stuff puts the ball in my court. It's all depending on other people to make me successful. And I want to know, what can I do at home with my babies, and then build this audience and learn how to market my music online. So that brought me to studying what other online businesses were doing outside of the music industry. And that was my whole background, my whole introduction into figuring out really the core skill building process, which was I needed to learn how to stand out. So I'm not a needle in a haystack. I needed to learn the skill of building an audience from scratch. And then I needed to learn the skill of creating products that they wanted to buy. And so in that process, I did have a small measure of success. And I began to build a small little group of super fans. That's what I call super fans. Super fans are people who are your most crazy obsessed fans that buy everything you do. They're obsessed with what you do. When they discover your music, they're like, where have you been my whole life? I can't believe that I didn't know you existed. This just changed my entire world. These are the super fans we all want as artists and musicians. And so I got a small little group of them. And I had read this article years ago that was called 1,000 Super Fans by, I think, Kevin Kelly. And this article went around the world and everybody read it. And it was all about, if you only had 1,000 super fans and they each paid you $100, there's a six-figure music business or a six-figure business. He wasn't even in the music industry. And so I took that to heart. I was like, all I need is 1,000 super fans. It's amazing. So that's what I did. And I actually built a nice little, cash business from my music online, just doing this. And that small amount of success led me to building an academy called Savvy Musician Academy. Now, what I didn't know, and what's going to be so interesting when we talk today in this episode, is that what I didn't realize I was doing at the time was I was exploring multiple avenues of a personal brand. I didn't know I was doing it at the time. So I was building this music business, and then I was like, well, what if I took my knowledge of the little success that I've had and I put that into an ebook? And so before the academy, I tried launching the ebook, and the ebook just completely flopped. Nobody bought it. It was a huge failure. I put my heart into this and nobody wanted to buy it. So I was like, what do I do now? And that's when I started realizing, well, if I put this in like a course format and more of a coaching format, maybe that would work. And so I started to discover and I started to try and test these different avenues. And like I said, what I didn't realize I was doing is I was building different avenues and different arms, if you will, of a single personal brand. Now, I ended up building my academy as a separate entity apart from my name. Like I didn't call it Leah McHenry Academy. It was Savvy Musician Academy. And I did that strategically. And it's going to be something I'm about to talk to our new guest about here. I'm really excited to introduce you to our guest, Gabriel, because he is kind of at the same crossroads where he is known as a really amazing specialty musician, but he's also building out this other branch, which is, again, in the coaching courses side of things. And so we're going to discover and we're going to explore this kind of melding of personal brand and professional brand. And I've got some interesting things to ask him. So welcome to the show, Gabriel. And can you just introduce yourself? Give us like in a snapshot, like a nutshell version of what you're up to. What are you known for and where are we headed?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm Gabriel Santiago. I'm from Brazil originally. Have been in the United States since 2008. I came here, to study, to get a career. I have a doctorate degree in music composition. I have a, array of records and things like that have been done throughout the years. And then I always thought, I love teaching as well. And the past 3 years or so, I started this coaching, this Brazilian guitar. I play Brazilian guitar a lot. And I launched this thing called the Brazilian Guitar Institute, where is a mentorship in which I take people who like to know my things and my systems, the way I do with music. Because it always started with a question, right? People come to the show and say, hey, I want to do what you do. I was like, well, I have to, I spent like a few years sort of reverse engineering what I do to try to like step by step guide people through this process. And I kind of look at the space and what people are teaching and not really, you got to be Brazilian to understand some of the stuff that people are teaching. It's like, no. I got to figure out a way to break it down to people. So I launched this initiative. I have also a small course, which is kind of a subset of that. And, have been sort of trying to conciliate a career as a composer, performer, teacher. I teach universities here in Colorado and also this online business.
That's awesome. So, you really are a creative in all the different facets. And what I love about this is, you're not boxing yourself into, no, I'm only a musician. There's other avenues I can explore my expertise and bring value to the world. Tell us a little bit more, like, do you have a family? Are you supporting your whole family based on being primarily a musician? Like, break that up for me.
Yes, I'm a full-time artist, musician. That's how I put food on the table. I am married for the last 3 years, and I moved to actually Colorado. It's been 3 years. I lived in Texas for a while. That's where I went to school in Austin, Texas. I went to Houston, a little bit back in São Paulo, Brazil, then came back here. So I teach in 3 universities here in Colorado. I have a career of, performing with my own groups. I have records. I have commissions. I have my jazz orchestra, like a 17-piece band. And I just get commissions sometimes. University of Denver just commissioned me a piece. And I teach private students. I teach in the Brazilian Guitar Institute. So it's just, trying to spread myself as much as I can. But yeah, it's all come from music.
Okay, that's awesome. There's so few musicians that actually do make it to that part where they are truly supporting their families on that. And that was my whole endeavor with Savvy Musician Academy, was showing everybody how to build that music business online the way you want to design it, because they're not cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
And then that actually ended up exploding. And that's actually how you and I met. You come from Savvy Musician Academy. You went through my academy. And I'm sure you've taken training from other people. There's a lot of great people out there. But you went through that program, and that's how we got to know each other. So I was like so thrilled when you came over to Legacy Launchpad, because now we get to work with you in a new capacity, and we all grow and we change and evolve. And like you, I have also expanded what I want to do with my personal brand. And so I've expanded to more creatives than just musicians. Now I'm working with artists and authors and e-commerce products. And that was the one thing, and we're going to talk about this because this comes down to one of your questions is, not boxing ourselves in when we're developing that personal brand. Because like I talked about in Savvy Musician Academy, sometimes there's these different avenues, these different streams of income. For a musician, it can be physical music, digital products, merchandise, VIP experiences. It can be tickets. It can be Kickstarters and crowdfunding campaigns. Then there's the actual live aspect of things. There's sync licensing. I mean, just there's probably 30 different avenues of ways you can make money as a musician. That's not just the music, because most people would agree that, streaming and stuff, it's great for discovery, but that's hard to support a family just off of streams if you're not super famous. So we have to get creative. And when I looked at other artists and musicians around the world, I noticed that they didn't box themselves in either. It wasn't just music. They all had like makeup lines and tequila and clothing and apparel and, like they have all these other endeavors. Some of them probably own a theme park for all I know, but they definitely didn't just do one thing. So that got me thinking more and more about your situation. And, so what's the main question you want to ask me today? Because I have a bit of an idea, but let's dig into it.
Yeah, I think one thing that I saw you on a post the other day, and I also seen a lot of people mentioning this. I saw Gary Vee talking about this for a while, the whole personal brand, right? Like how in the whole AI era, right, that is here to stay, apparently, right, it's more and more important to develop a brand, to be, a unique person. And then that also entails, having your hand in different things. On your case, you have your hand on so many, industries now. They're different. It's, let alone just the music side of things. Yeah, my main question would be, because, when I watch your classes in the legacy program, like you always stress that, okay, you got to deal with this first, and then you do this, and then you do that. I mean, you did a little bit of that. We start with the music, and then you start teaching music, and then you went to the whole, array of businesses. And I wonder, like, as an artist slash educator, right? That's a thing that I have to deal with on a regular basis, like simultaneously. I have been spending a lot of time in the educational side of things, prepping this program and, catering to students, but also, I need to make more albums. I need to tour. I need to compose music. I need to, deal with so many things. So, one inside question of that is like, okay, do you keep the brands sort of separate, the products? Do you have the same Instagram for your artists versus the guitar thing? Like I just tried recently, a couple of weeks ago, start to like finally separating them again, because I was posting a lot of the BGI thing inside my Gabriel Santiago, networks or whatever. And I'm trying to now just be artist stuff here, a separate, just talk about Brazilian guitar, all this other thing. I would love to hear your take on this.
Right. So when do we like separate different micro businesses or products from us as the personal brand? Every time I build something, I always come to the same crossroads. So, first of all, you just need to know that it's never cookie cutter. There's not like one answer for this. A lot of this is going to come down to the very first thing that we actually do in Legacy Launchpad, which is when we know what we're building. One of the first questions we have to ask ourselves is, what is our owner's intent? I learned this years ago, and it was a life-changing question. We have to determine something, and this basically kind of plants the flag in the ground one way or another, which is, as a business owner, are we looking for just a lifestyle business where it just funds our personal life? It pays the bills. We maybe have, we can build it to several $1,000,000 a year, but we're not going to sell that business. Or is this a legacy business where we want it to just keep going and pass down through the children? Or is this a business we want to sell one day? And if this is a business that we think we want to sell one day, that puts everything in a different light. Because number one, you can't sell a personal brand, right? So it's not sellable because it's a human and it's you. Now, that's also the differentiator. It's what makes us unique. It's what makes us, nobody can knock that off. Nobody can replicate it easily because it's us. So that's an advantage. But the trade-off is we can't sell our own brand. But we can sell products, we can sell platforms, we can sell, yes, distinguished separate brands. And every time I go to build something, I come to the same crossroad. And I got to ask myself, is this something that I think I could build to the point where I might want to sell it one day? If so, I'm going to consider that this is going to be an offshoot, like this is going to be its own separate brand. Now, I, as a personal brand, I'm going to promote it. Because here's the thing. If you think about it like an octopus or something, you're the main animal, you're the creature, you're the brains, right? But the octopus has several, 8 legs or however many legs it has. And it's an offshoot of the main thing. And you could technically cut off a leg and it'll grow back. Right? But you can separate it from the animal and he's not going to die. I mean, it's just like, okay, we'll grow a new one. And so maybe that's a bad example, but I think you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like we are building our personal brands. Now, the good thing is when you build yourself as a personal brand, you become an expert and you are known for something. Brazilian guitar, that's genius. You can promote whatever business you want and they will buy that thing. So, if you came out with cologne or something for Brazilian cologne for, that gets, that men are just going to attract all the ladies, like they will buy that from you because they love you and they trust you. So you can literally build any product you want because of your personal brand. So with that in mind, where are you leaning in terms of your academy, your mentorship side of things?
I built it up, so it's been like 3 years, and I definitely am, I think, on a stage allowed to really scale it. People already have like a marketing assistant is helping me with everything else and editing videos and things like that, so I can spend more time with people. I am going through a sort of an overhaul thing of the program where I am focused more on being a coach rather than a lecturer, because that's something I just realized at the end of the year. I have been really like being a lecturer because I like to talk, about things and people like to hear what I have to say about music. But a coaching program should be about, okay, you play that and I look at that and transform this, take people from point A to point B. So I'm kind of going through that and trying to at the same time get the career going. I have shows and things. I have a new record that's coming up. I'm trying to record another one and get out and play. So definitely it's a personal brand. I definitely would choose. I don't plan to sell any of this. I think I need to expand the brand. You're talking about products. For instance, one thing I would love to do is actually an instrument, like a guitar. By myself, whatever, like with a company, partner with someone. I'm endorsed by a few companies, but I never had like my model. I had a Brazilian luthier that made like a signature series, but like actually a product design with me along with a thing. I think that will be a good product to expand the brand and things like that. So I'm definitely on the path of, expanding as much as I can, but sometimes I wonder, right? Okay, so how do I do all that? I have to post content for this. I got to post content for that. How do I, get everything going at the same time, because I feel sometimes one is suffering a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you. So that's definitely a separate thing we could tackle because we kind of got to get our footing in place in terms of juggling things. I'm under the impression that most creatives like you and I, like we're so bored if we only do one thing anyways, like we go crazy. So we just invent new projects when we don't have at least 2 going. So we like the challenge of the fact that we can't quite keep up with something. That's actually quite exciting for most multi-passionate creatives. And so we might complain about it, but actually we are quite addicted to it. So first of all, there's nothing wrong with it and you are growing already. So it's like, you're good. But I know in terms of the growth stuff and the scaling stuff, like let's first nail down this one thing. So in terms of your owner's intent, yes, you're going to grow your personal brand. But with this coaching mentorship platform, when I use the word platform, and I don't know if that's the right word, this growing a platform is an option though. And I just want you to be aware that this is an option. And a platform is different than just a coaching business. A platform is where you are platforming other people as well, meaning you could bring in other experts, other teachers, other niches, there's kind of the sky's the limit, really. It could be Brazilian, like other types of instruments.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
that,
Totally.
how does that land?
It's totally kind of in line of what I have been thinking. Like my sort of grandiose goal is to be a platform, not only for Brazilian guitar, but music in general, because I teach composition, I teach arranging, I teach harmony, I teach improvisation.
Yeah.
And some people from all over the place kind of want something else, one of these from me. And I have to, okay, this is Brazilian guitar thing. I'm trying to do more of these, more of this, but there's a focus program here. But
Yeah.
definitely, I do want to expand to the point where I'll get more people, more coaches, not only guests, but people who start coaching other people. I train them into my system and everything else. So yeah, the goal is to expand into an overall music platform that people can, get what they want in there.
Okay, so this is something that's actually quite amazing because even if you never sell it, you want to build it like you're going to sell it. Because a business that is sellable is usually a business you want to keep because it's doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who just build businesses to flip them and sell them quickly are not really good businesses. They're businesses that other people have to kind of swoop in and save, or they're like declining or whatever. Like, I know some people, there's like rare unicorns out there that they do that for a living. They'll take a distressed business, flip it, and like, but that's not what we're doing here. Your intention is a lot more meaningful, and you might keep this platform forever, or maybe you sell it and you're a shareholder one day. I mean, there's so many options down the road, but you're going to build this thing like you're going to sell it. And
Yes.
it's exactly the thing that I used to tell the musicians. It's like you want to build your personal brand as a musician so good that the labels actually approach you, but you don't want them and you
Mm-hmm.
don't need them because you're doing just great. But
Yep.
it's ironic, right? Because the people who want to get discovered and get signed, they would never consider because they don't have any momentum. They don't have any proof. Nowadays, if you're going to get signed, like you basically don't need them. So why would you? Like it's everything's changing. So we're in the same position with you building this platform. You're going to build it like it's so profitable and so juicy and so amazing and transformative that people will approach you and you'll be like, no, or that sounds great. So, with that in mind, that actually helps me a lot now that I know your owner's intent that, like, okay, we're going to make this probably a separate brand. It's a platform. And you, as a personal brand, you can talk about it as much as you want. So, I don't know if you follow guys like Daniel Priestley, but he is amazing. Like, so he's all about personal brand as well. And he is like, he owns 10 different companies or however many companies. And he talks about them all the time. He talks about and he names them and he posts about them and he puts them in his stories. Like I would follow him right now and see how he's talking about different things, his different companies that he owns. But at the end of the day, it's all about you as the personal brand, building up that credibility because
Mm-hmm.
like we talked about, like you've seen some of my posts with AI, people are going to trust what they see and hear less and less and less. Like even now, like if I just show my son a cat video, we're both like, is that AI? Like we
Mm-hmm.
don't actually know. And it's indistinguishable. And I have also heard of entire personas
Oh
on
yeah.
Instagram and people didn't know they were fake. Like
Yep.
they looked like a real person, it was like in fashion or whatever. It was like you couldn't tell. And so that's really scary. So people, the trust recession is we are in the middle of a trust recession right now. So it's like we almost don't have time. Like now is the time this second. If you haven't built a personal brand, like now is that moment. So you're on the right track. In terms of scaling and juggling the two different things. We'll go more deep into that on our coaching calls because we got to talk about building teams and we got to get you profitable to a place where we can help offload some of the administrative things that you're doing and free you up for more the creative strategic things that only you can do as a founder. And so that is going to come down to let's get the cash flow flowing and growing every month so that we have that bandwidth to and capacity to bring on teams. So do you have anybody right now that is on your team or is it all you?
Yeah, I have a person in Brazil who's doing a lot of my marketing and editing videos and things like that. So we kind of like been together with the programs and figuring out the directions and things like that. So he's been helping me. I do have one person that's helping me.
Perfect. Okay, so one of the things I would do is you want to be the main one responsible for your personal brand content, but I would put someone else in charge of the platform content. So for example, you would want to repurpose like sessions that are already being recorded. So some of your tutorials, your lessons, the things that you're doing, your lectures, and you want to find someone who's really good at editing the little sound bites.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's some AI tools out there, some Opus and different ones
I
that
use it.
can
Yep.
do some of this. I'm using Descript right now. I don't do all my editing, but when I do use it, I just started doing some stuff with it the other day. It's like phenomenal. It's like crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like the craziest thing. I typed in there find me all the places in this 2-hour video where I talk about blank, like specific belief topic. And it went and found me 6 different sound bites that I didn't have to even look for it. I didn't have to sit there and comb through it. And then I just edited those out. Like, I'm not an editor, and I was able to do that. And I was like, wow, this is insane. The tools we have right now are amazing.
They
So
are.
the AI, right? It's always
Yep.
like, it's like
Yep.
good and bad trade-offs.
Yep. I use Opus. I heard of the script and everything. So what I was doing is I was doing a live stream every Saturday. And basically, because I basically have a system that I called the Sambify system, where basically I take any song, like a pop song or a jazz standard, and I kind of convert that into this Brazilian style solo guitar. And basically every Saturday I take one song, Sellable by Starlight, and then I just do the thing. I just put it into the motions, show the method to people. Just an advertising of this method every Saturday. And I start breaking down a little bit more, some harmony stuff, some improvisation, but main focus was that. So basically, after I get done with the stream, I send to the team, and then they make the cuts and everything, and then post in the social media. So that's a process I have been doing this past year. But it was under my Gabriel Santiago main account. And that's what I'm trying to now move into a separate BGI space, so I can get more of a music and shows and things into the other one, But yeah, repurposing content and things are...
That's it. I would just have someone else manage that content for that. And then to ramp this up, I don't know if you've done a lot of ads, but I would definitely suggest we start digging into some advertising this year. We can work on that together in terms of some very specific campaigns and the funnel side of it. We'll dig into all of that when we can do a deep dive, because there's some really good algorithm things right now that are actually working in our favor in terms of creatives with ads. I'm playing a lot with ads right now, even just for my own brand. Whereas up until now, I did everything organic because I didn't have time to run ads because I was running the other businesses. This year, I'm stepping out of the CEO role in my other company. My husband's running that, and I get to focus on you guys, which is so fun. So that means I get to play more, and I'm playing more with ads. So I can speak to this now because I'm jumping right in there. So there's no reason why you can't scale this. I mean, you've proven it. Over Black Friday, you had that launch that made $9,000. So, what we want to do is continue that trend, and we want some, predictable revenue coming in. The launches are nice, but we want the predictable revenue as well, building a nice foundation, and then plan for some, those event type things. So how is this landing so far? Did you get the clarity that you needed yet?
It seems that I'm on the path. I should just kind of turn the volume on it, right? Turn the volume up and keep on that path. I definitely foresee this particular platform becoming, I want to plan at some point having like an event, like a camp, like in Colorado, beautiful mountains, and people come in. That's kind of the next stage. Once I get a good amount of numbers, bring people from abroad, so I can have that other type of experience, right? That whole immersion, whatever they call these days, right? That people come in and spend the 4 days or whatever. I'm definitely trying to get more of the artist side now, as far as really getting the email list together. And, because what it was really amazing about your background, your pathway, when I first saw your thing, was an ad, right? You had this like unbelievable sales pitch. There's like, I cannot not do it, because you say, well, I'm this like, mom, I homeschool my kids and I don't tour, and I made, it's like, and then you said like, if I can do it, you can do it. Just like, yeah, I don't have an excuse. Like, if this woman is like not touring and just homeschooling their kids, and she's making all this revenue selling her music to people who actually want to buy, I have to get into this, right? So that's how we basically met, and I kept that in my mind. So I'm paying so much attention to that part. I also want to, give some love to the career also, like, and get a big list and, start selling people and the products and the records and the access, the new project and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty exciting to be able to do that. Since we started the Legacy Launchpad, I'm super excited to, realize those things, make them happen.
Absolutely. This is going to be such a fun year. And one of the reasons is because I'm more focused on Legacy Launchpad, I got so much fun stuff planned and workshops, and like we talk about list building, but there's just these little shifts that I'm discovering that are totally they're kind of exploding everything. And so I can't wait to share that with you. One of the things being, really strategic lead magnets, like microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll talk about that. Like instead of people just opting in for free, which it works, having them pay like something under $10 for the same thing because it is valuable. But because you know what I mean, there's there's freebie seekers online, right? Where they just opt in for everything and then they put in their worst email. They give you their spam email and then you have this built a big list of spam emails. Like I literally did that. My current list, I have to purge my list now. I have probably 5,000 people on there who just don't open my emails because they gave me spam emails. And so, whereas, for example, like we're going to do a workshop on this, like someone who even pays $1 for something, the same lead magnet, they give you the good email and you get the credit card. So things like, imagine you built a whole list of people who did a microtransaction with you. Like the quality of that list is going to be huge, right?
Absolutely.
And now we set the tone for the kind of relationship we're having too, right? We're training people to buy. So just stuff like that. Like I cannot wait to dig into the workshops and the things I have planned for you guys this year. Like your brand is going to explode. I have no doubt. Like you got the work ethic, you have the talent, you have a specialty, you're already like got some traction like this. Let's go. I'm excited for you.
I'm so excited. I'm super pumped. I can't wait. I try to, study and educate myself as much as I can with stuff. I'm always like, because I drive quite a bit teaching these schools and I'm just listen to podcasts and this and just books and things like that. I'm always trying to see what people are up to, doing the strategy and things. This strategy, I heard about these things, there's the whole transaction thing now where it's just such a wonderful way to qualify the lead, right? Because you get someone who gave their best email, who actually gave you something, paid a little bit and the credit card. So you have such a qualified path there to acquire this customer and get more products that way.
Totally. And we've done it too with Kickstarter campaigns, like or crowdfunding, pre-orders. Like it's all the same thing. Like it's, we've done $1 VIP reservations, things like that. This is the stuff we're going to dig into this year because things are changing right now. We are in a very shifting landscape. I feel like everyone's always saying that, but this is truly, I think they call it like the fourth industrial revolution. Like the last industrial revolution changed all of mankind and like the whole entire world economy. And we're in that right now and everybody knows it. And it's always one of those things where, there's a bigger divide that happens, right? Where there's people who are afraid of losing their jobs. And I get it. I totally understand that. But there's also at the same time, this incredible opportunity that to build something really significant that's really lean and more profitable than it's ever been. So it takes optimism. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, and especially a creative entrepreneur, we've got to be optimistic. We have to be quick on our feet. We have to look for the different advantages that we can go down and also stay focused. And that's the hard part. Even for me right now is we are getting just inundated with so many different, just shiny objects everywhere. I mean, every second there's some new amazing tool coming out and some AI bot and some this, that, and the other thing. And should we do high ticket, low ticket, this, that, and it's just overwhelming. And so the trick is this is where the personal brands come in, is people want to know, who can I trust? And then I'm just basically going to ignore everything else. Because if I can lock in with someone where I'm like, I align with their values, I know they can take me on this journey, I'm going to put my blinders up and just let the noise go. That's going to be our key as people in this industry. So you as a coach, and then also people who are following me, I'm encouraging them, put your blinders on. Trust me, I'm going through all of the noise so that you don't have to. Because it is it's a nightmare out there with all the, like we're all feeling it. So
it is.
Anyways, but I'm glad you have clarity on like what you're building. Do you feel like since this conversation you got, that clarity you needed as opposed to before you were kind of wondering?
Absolutely. It just, as I said, just turn the volume up on it. It's like, I should definitely push this as much as I can. And the whole brand thing, getting the trust of people and being able to smartly scale, getting qualified people into a world and telling them what to do. It's just such a noisy world right there. And definitely people, you got to build the trust, right? You get definitely people, vote with their wallets will they trust and everything. You got to establish that connection.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's amazing. Where can people find you and your music? Like, where are you most active on social media and all of that?
I'm on Instagram at Gabriel Santiago. I'm also on YouTube, my name as well. My website has pretty, a lot of stuff, Gabriel Santiago Project. And you can find me through those things. If you type my name, you'll see everything, all the social medias and everything. I'm pretty active on all the platforms as much as I can and post, content and answer people, talk to people. I love to talk to people. They will ask me questions all the time about things, and so I love to chat. So if you're interested, find me there. Let's chat.
Amazing. Well, I'm happy to send people your way. So thank you so much for this conversation. I had a lot of fun chatting with you.
Yes,
we'll see you in the program.
Absolutely.